how many brilliant American machines showed up, made our jaws drop, and then disappeared before they got a real shot. You've seen the headlines, the glossy concept photos, the big promises, but behind those promises were boardroom battles, budget cuts, and sometimes fear of going too far, too fast. So tonight, Cad, you and I are taking a ride through the hidden side of us engineering. The cars and trucks that could have changed the way you drive, the cities you live in, maybe even the highways beneath your wheels. Some of them looked like they came from the future. Some of them basically did. And the last one is so bonkers you'll think I'm making it up. I'm not. Let's start with a name that still feels like a dare. Tucker. Picture post-World War II America in 1948. Factories are roaring. Families want safer, smarter cars. Preston Tucker steps in with a sedan that makes Detroit nervous. His Tucker 48, nicknamed the Torpedo, puts a flat-six air-cooled helicopter-derived engine in the back, about 166 horsepower, and a raft of never-before-seen safety ideas. You get the famous turning center headlight, a pop-out windshield meant to reduce injuries in a crash, and a body shaped by the wind. Seatbelts were talked about when most companies didn't want to scare buyers with the word safety. Only 51 cars were built before the company collapsed under the weight of lawsuits and bad press. Tucker and his team were acquitted in 1950, but the damage was done. Today, surviving cars are worth 7 figures and sit in museums. A what-if frozen in brushed metal. If you ever see one in person, you can feel the future it promised and the fight it lost. Now, jump to the jet age. GM's Firebird I, II, and III. 3 separate concept cars from 1953, 1956, and 1959 that literally tried to leave the road behind. Firebird I looked like a rocket with wheels, a single-seat test platform for a gas turbine engine. Firebird II got even bolder. A 4-seat, titanium-bodied family car with disc brakes on all 4 wheels. A regenerative exhaust system to tame turbine heat. And this is Wilda non-operational highway of the future. Guidance system meant to talk to electronics embedded in the road. And Firebird III. Joystick, steering, anti-lock braking, early cruise control vibes. And an auxiliary gasoline engine just to power its accessories. Imagine your daily commute, guided by the road itself, while a turbine hums like a small jet. It didn't go into production, tech, and the fuel costs were too much. But those cars showed us where we might go if the road itself helped drive the car. Some of them still live in collections and museums, waiting to be rediscovered by people like you. You like trucks, good. Because in 1964, Ford built a rolling skyscraper called Big Red. This was a turbine-powered long-haul rig that debuted at the New York World's Fair, so massive that when you saw it, your brain needed a second to realize it was real. The whole tractor and Obel trailer unit stretched to about 96 feet, with a claimed 600 horsepower gas turbine and forward-thinking features inside the cab. We're talking creature comforts meant to keep a driver alert and comfortable for the miles ahead. Big Red disappeared for decades, becoming legend. And then plot twisted, resurfaced in the 2020s. The story of how it vanished and returned is almost as good as the truck itself. But it never made production. Gas turbines were thirsty, regulations were changing, and costs were insane. It remains one of the coolest what-if machines in American trucking. A ship on wheels from a future that never showed up. GM's answer came the next year. The Chevrolet Turbo Titan III. If Big Red was a battleship, the Turbo Titan III was a stealth fighter. Think hidden headlights, a cockpit full of aircraft-style gauges, and a GT309 gas turbine at its heart, about 280 horsepower, geared down from screaming turbine speeds. Cat. It wasn't about raw numbers. It was about smooth, jet-like delivery, and the idea that highway freight might one day glide. Tech. The tech was clever, the styling was space-age, and the dream was short. Fuel economy, noise, heat, and complexity kept turbine trucks in the lab and out of the fleet. Most of these one-offs were destroyed after the experiments ended. Today, the Turbo Titan III survives mostly in film, photos, handful of displays and brochures, receipts from a time when trucking flirted with aerospace. Before we go deeper, quick gut check. Notice the pattern. Radical ideas show up early. They scare the market, scare the accountants, or simply cost too much, and then gone. But if you think turbines were wild, the next one opens like a jet and turns into a Hot Wheels legend. The Dodge Diora is proof that car culture can warp reality. Built off a humble Dodge A100 pickup and transformed by the Alexander brothers, the Diora didn't have doors in the usual places. You lifted the front like a glass hatch, stepped in through the nose, and sat inside a gold-painted sculpture that looked like it might float. It won big at shows, became one of the original Hot Wheels Sweet 16, and now lives in the American memory as art you could drive barely. Chrysler loved it enough to show it. But there was no path to a showroom. In 2024 and 2025, it was back in the spotlight, on display at the Henry Ford, reminding everyone how far imagination can stretch a pickup truck. Diora didn't die. It evolved into a toy that raised a generation of gearheads. Here's your teaser. If a custom truck could become a toy icon, could a tiny American company beat Ferrari at its own game? The next car tried. Late 1960s. American Motors Corporation, better known for sensible cars, decides to go completely off script. The AMX3 isn't just a car, it's a declaration. Mid-engine layout, Italian coachwork, American V8 muscle. AMC recruited design chief Dick Teague to shape it and roped in the legendary Giotto Bizzarrini on the engineering side. Under the rear glass sat a 390 cubic inch AMC V8, about 6.4 liters, rated around 340 horsepower, 0 to 60 in the sixes. Top speed well north of 150. Low, wide, and honest about its intent. Coat. The AMX3 was built to chase Ferrari and Lamborghini on European roads seriously. AMC planned to build it in Germany with Carmen Pret. And then reality knocked. Money got tight. Certification costs ballooned. Only 6 cars were built before the program died. The rare survivors now trade for jaw-dropping sums. You look at one and you can almost hear the alternate timeline revving now. From a European-style supercar to a blue-collar idea that arrived a decade early. In the 1970s, Jeep built a one-off extended cab J10 prototypes just one. The idea: give workers a pickup that could also carry family or crew without forcing you into a giant cabin. Built on a Wagoner frame. The truck added real second-row space before Detroit realized people wanted pickups to be both tools and daily drivers. The prototype almost got crushed. The supervisor who helped build it saved the truck and kept it alive long enough for us to finally appreciate how on point it was. Decades later, extended cabs took over America's truck market. Jeep had the blueprint and didn't have the money or the faith to push it. That single survivor has been restored and documented, the sort of ghost story you can still touch. Okay, let's talk the most famous canceled American car ever. The DeLorean DMC-12. Stainless steel skin, gull-wing doors, a look that stopped traffic in 1981 and still does today. Under the beauty, a 2.85-liter PRV V6, about 130 horsepower in US trim. On paper, it was quick, in real life. Most testers saw around 10 to 10.5 seconds to 60. The company had huge government funding in Northern Ireland, wild hype, and crushing production problems. Then came the scandal. John DeLorean was arrested in a drug sting in 1982. He was later acquitted, but the company was already out of time and money. Around 9,000 cars were built, and when Hollywood picked it up for Back to the Future, the car turned into a pop culture time machine. Attempts to revive the brand and reboot the idea as an EV keep popping up, and even John's daughter has floated a revival plan. DM's C-12 is proof that a cancelled car can become immortal in people's minds, even when it flopped on the balance sheet. Maybe you're thinking, that's all vintage stuff. Where's the modern, insane project that never got the green light? I've got you. In 2004, Chrysler rolled out something that looked like it had chewed up physics and asked for seconds. The Me for Medenka 444 turbo 12 4-cylinders. The numbers were ridiculous. 6.0 liter IMAHGN Bay Dose. 850 horsepower. 850 pound-feet of torque. Acclaimed 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds. And an estimated 248 miles per hour top end. The body was carbon and aluminum. The gearbox, a lightning-quick 7-speed automated setup, and the weight, about 2,880 pounds, which is featherweight for a car packing an apartment building's worth of power. The reaction was instant. It could have put Chrysler on the same wall as the era's hypercars. And then officially, it was too expensive. Unofficially, people have long whispered that Mercedes didn't want Chrysler stepping on its toes. Today, the prototype sits hidden away in a private corporate collection, a caged animal we only get to see in photos and clips.